All right. Okay, hi everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
So we made it to week 3. How are
Yes.
you feeling?
Well, I'm glad the transcribing and the tape script and all that stuff from last week is over because all those colors were driving me insane.
Yep. I hope we get our grades soon because I'm really curious to see like how we did and things like that.
Yeah,
But
me
I mean,
too.
it was a good practice, good experience and things like that, especially since we've done our fair share of that with pre-practicum. So here's to hoping we all did well.
Right. Thank goodness for pre-practicum now that we think back, right?
No, I'm doing mine now.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So you
I
have
know.
both.
I just did two. We did two like 30-minute videos just
Mhm.
earlier today.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So you're
It'll get easier. I
I
remember
hope
the
so.
beginning of that class, I was like, I
It's
was
like a
so,
crash course this semester. Like, oh,
yeah, but I'm sure everything will work out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this week we were talking about the Jahari awareness model. So it's pretty interesting to read about it in the book, knowing all these different like quadrants and stuff like that. Cause like
Mhm.
I've always kind of like known about them. Like, okay, you're with a group, you don't really know too much about them, but then over time you guys kind of like open up with one another and it kind of falls into these specific quadrants. So I thought it was pretty interesting to like now have like a specific like name for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Don't really think about it as individual spots until like it's pointed out, like, oh, this is this part and this part. So yeah, that
Mm.
I completely agree with that because you just think about everybody's meeting and this is happening, but you don't actually put it into quadrants like they did until you think about it like that.
And it's super interesting because like now that we're like in week 3 and we're going back and like looking at our recordings and comparing it to what we're reading in the book, like it makes sense because now we're in that working stage and we now all kind of like know a lot more than we know now, like compared to back then. Like now we know more than just beyond the surface level.
Yeah.
I was reading some research that talks about like, you can do it individually, like our 4 people, or you could do it as groups, like you compare like 4 groups instead of just an individual person to see how they started to relate to each other. So you can even expand it.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so it says now that you are in the 3rd week of the course, your group should be at a certain stage in the group process. So using that awareness model, the window, the first part says information that you now know about each other that you did not know previously. So the open quadrant.
Okay, I'll go first. I just kind of use, I think last week really kind of helped me to be able to do this part. Like I kind of said in it, I've worked with Althea and Jess. I've worked with both of y'all before last time. But I think just doing things that we've done in this course, like I got to know like, Jess, you talked about your patience a lot with your kids and things like that. And then Althea, you even last class, you could tell you were very goal driven and determined and things like that. And it just reiterated it even more, once we were in this group together. And then Amanda, this is my first time actually, working with you and things like that. So when you shared, your part about empathy and stuff, it was something that just opened me up to know you guys better. So that's kind of just how I took it, and that's how I ran with like this week's stuff.
Yeah, for me, I mentioned the same thing as well, how having each other in previous course really helped us kind of like add more to just the surface level. Um, I mentioned also about like the whole self-disclosure, how that's starting to take place as the group develops, and we can clearly see it here happening every week when we meet. We're not really like holding back or like anxious or nervous. Because I know that at the beginning, maybe if like we had no idea who any of us were, then maybe like, okay, like I don't know, it would have probably taken a lot longer for us to kind of open up. And same thing with Amanda. I'm pretty sure I've seen your name before in other courses. I'm sure we've taken courses before, but I've never
Yeah.
had the opportunity to like actually talk to you and work with you and like get to know you better. So
Yeah.
I really like this class a lot because it like opens the door to like meeting people and having those connections professionally and you have people that are on the same boat as you. you with that experience and education, and we're all on the same boat in working on this program. So I think it's cool to know that like we're not alone.
Yeah, I didn't know anything really. I think I've recognized some of your names through other classes and chats, but I couldn't put a face to any of them. But so I really didn't know much. But I learned a little more on the last video that we did, and I'm sure the more we share, um, this quadrant will expand more and more. So have kind of a deeper understanding about each other. And then I learned, that Jessica, how she's such an advocate for her students and learning, and you can tell she's very passionate and is rooting for her kids there and takes her role in their lives seriously. So I do think that's one of the best qualities that you could have as a counselor. And then Jessica A, I learned that she's very calm personality during this, and she seems like a professional already. Like, I don't even know why you have to take this course, but
No.
I think she's warm and inviting. She provides that kind of atmosphere, which is what you need. And Althea said that she has a peaceful, like leadership quality, and is well prepared, and that she's seems like a go-getter, but in a tranquil kind of way. Like she's not all frazzled, but she's very calm. So I think finding those two qualities in one person is hard to find. And I do think it'll show the clients that you take what you do seriously, but kind of with a poised, calm confidence that you exude.
Yeah, I really liked discussing like this topic because it really got me thinking about our group sessions, and I'm so glad that we had the other one where we kind of like were like in the leadership role, and like I felt like that really helped me because I got to see everyone's like personal experiences and everything, and so it was easier for me to get like a sense of like, okay, like Althea is this way, Jessica's this way, Amanda's this way. Like it was really easy, but I really had to like sit there and I was just thinking because I knew it was all in my head. And then I thought maybe if I go back to my transcript, and I was like, no, 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 like I just went based off of memory, and I was like trying to like pull things everywhere. But I really like the quadrant um is easy for me to like kind of like describe you guys because these are things that you've said, and like there's no way for me to misconstrue like that information. So that was like really helpful. And I noticed in our notes we all kind of like wrote about each other, and I thought it was like super cute, very thoughtful. Um and yeah, like I really liked it.
Yeah, I feel the same way, especially towards the end of the notes where we talked about like the feedback part. Like
Mhm.
I really like that because it's like you don't really think about it until somebody else says it and you're like, "Oh yeah, like that makes sense." So I
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
that. I thought this week's notes and like this week's meeting so far is like a really good one for sure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. And then where is the second question? Oh, your belief of the size of the hidden quadrant for your group. Will it remain the same, gotten smaller, or has somehow expanded? And explain your belief.
I mean, I think in my view, it's gotten smaller for, I mean, and I could just be speaking for myself, but just like I said, some of us have worked before, and Amanda, we haven't actually worked with you before, but you fit right in. So it was just like everybody was opening up, and it wasn't just like a cut and dry like answer and then let me go on or anything like that. Like everybody's really open to sharing and different things like that. So for me, I feel like it's gotten smaller. Um, and I really think it's probably just going to continue to get smaller the more that we do things together. At least that's how I'm viewing it. So,
Yeah, I agree with that as well because yeah, again going back to the fact that like we majority of us had the same group in our previous course, so that really was a big help as well. But I feel like you mentioned like we all kind of just like fit in, you know, because again, we have like the same goals, the same end goal, so we're all here to help each other out. I also went ahead and mentioned again the whole self-disclosure because I feel that self-disclosure is like that key element. Like by practicing self-disclosure, you're able to kind of know each other a lot more, which is why I also believe that that hidden quadrant is just going to continue shrinking. I feel the more that we meet, the more we'll feel comfortable to like self-disclose and say things. So I really like that. And I feel that what also helps us a lot is the way that we communicate, not just via meeting, but via group chat. So I kind of mentioned that in the notes where it says we keep in touch via group chat to help facilitate communication. So I feel that our group as a whole really does well when it comes to keeping in touch and addressing any questions and things that we have regarding the class.
Yeah, to me, the size of the hidden quadrant got a little bit smaller for me. It was the first time I've seen you. I know the first meeting my camera didn't work, so I didn't even get to see you. So that this past meeting was the first time. So yeah, I think we really fit well together. I did get to learn a little bit about like your core values and your beliefs um and also we've been through, well, for me, a stressful situation together, being videotaped. It's not my favorite. But and so we're, going through some stressful situations together and I think I'm glad I have you guys as support to as we work through this class.
Yes. For me, for the second quadrant, I put that it has gotten smaller. I believe that we continue to disclose and we um end up finding more about each other and our beliefs and the way we perceive things. Um, and when I was looking, because I was trying really hard to pull from anything other from the book. So I ended up reading an article based on the Johari model, and it was saying how like it's applied in the classroom and how it's applied like obviously in group sessions. Um, but it was saying about this specific like hidden one that this ability enables students to foster closer and more authentic relationships with peers, teachers, and family. And I thought that was important because I mean, yeah, like it's important here with us, but like we could see this being applied in our classrooms or um, with our like personal friends and stuff. So yeah, it's a really important quadrant in that sense that like we end up finding more about each other. And like for instance, this one got me thinking about my friend who um is an English teacher as well, but like she has like another like I guess like passion hobby where she's a teacher for ballet folklorico. I yeah, I said it right. And I would have never have known that like but obviously like the more we got closer, like I found that out. Um, but yeah, so it like got me thinking about that.
Yeah, the hidden quadrant is definitely something that, again, like you don't really think about it too much, but then over time you realize through that self-disclosure, like
Yeah.
I'm knowing things about my group members that I would have had no idea. Like it's not something that you can easily like observe or things like that. And like, for example, there's one example in the book that says group members become aware of experiences others have had, such as the fact that, for example, Larry has traveled extensively or that Jackson studied abroad. So I guess if I could provide like my own example, I'm currently in California. So
Ah,
hence why it's like a different background compared to the previous meetings. So it's been kind of weird with like the whole time change. So for you
oh.
guys right now, it's about to be 5, and
Mhm.
for me, it's about to be 3. So that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this? Like with the whole meetings and stuff. But so far, so good. So yeah, I figure
Good.
that's a good example of like a hidden quadrant that you guys probably wouldn't have known unless
Yeah.
I said it. But I figured I'd say it because I mean, in case there's ever times that like I can't update the notes or something, kind of like how I mentioned in the chat a couple days ago where I was like, oh, I'll update my part in a little bit because I'm kind of on the road. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a cool example.
Yes.
Maybe we should all say an example of something you don't know, you don't think that you know about each other. No.
No,
Yeah, I
we
think that's
totally
a good idea.
should. I was thinking like, what could I say that's interesting about myself? But yeah.
I have my son, I adopted him from an orphanage in Siberia.
Wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, he's 20 now. So he
Oh,
was 1 when we went and picked him up. So
well, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Um, well, I think I mentioned it in my like meet and greet, but when I finish my education contract, we also own a barbecue restaurant. So my contract ends one day and I start back the next day with the barbecue. So
oh,
I'm constantly going.
wow.
Wow.
That is so cool. And actually, now that you bring that up, because I kid you not, guys, I was like obviously I needed stuff to write, and so I was like, where can I find more information about my group members? And I went back to that like meet and greet discussion, and when you said that, I was like, oh wow, you mentioned that in your like discussion, and I was like, oh wow. But that was me going all extra. Me, I don't think there's really interest, like I don't have some like so cool super powers thing. Um, I recently got an English bulldog like
Mm.
in August, and I was not anticipating having one, so he was kind of like just dropped onto my lap. And with school and everything, that was stressful. But he's super cute. He's like the biggest potato. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I'm a mom of like a toddler, a teen, and an English bulldog.
Oh,
Cute. Love that.
Yeah.
ew.
But yeah, like I really like our group because like I also mentioned in my notes, it's kind of like a safe space, you know, like we don't fear being like judged or anything like that. Like we can say anything that comes to mind. We can even like stray away a little bit from like what we're looking at, but still tie it into it. So I think it's really cool that it's pretty easy to communicate with one another, not have to worry about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm like going crazy looking for the questions because it's like all broken up this time.
Yeah.
Okay. It says provide feedback to a peer that would fall into the blind quadrant. This should be done with tact and constructively. All group members should receive feedback only once.
Okay, so I was confused about that. When it says feedback only once, like do we like if I mention somebody, then somebody else mentions somebody else, or
I don't know. The way that I understood it is like each of us gives feedback from our point of view. I don't know. I feel that the way that we did it should be fine because we kind of like went above and beyond.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would keep it like that.
okay, well, I'll just start reading what I put. Okay, so I said for Jess that you're incredibly thoughtful in the way that you talk about your work and your students. But I do notice like sometimes you brush past like your own impact, like you don't realize how strong of an impact you have on kids. Even like when you were talking about like some of your kids like walk over to your school and things like that, like that's really like a powerful thing and just like don't downplay it. Like always kind of use that because I think you have such an impact on kids and you don't even realize it. Let's see. Amanda, your empathy was one of the things that really kind of stuck out to me when we first talked with you and different things like that. It just showed me how you would respond to others in like a genuine way. Um, and one of the things that I said for you to try to keep in mind is that try not to carry the emotional weight of others when you are, really good with that empathy. Sometimes
Mm.
it's something that we take on and don't even realize that. So just be careful with yourself whenever you're taking on a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then Althea, I said, your determination is clear and also inspiring. And I wonder though if you give yourself room to pause and reflect. So like your go mode, go, go, go. Just make sure you take time for you and, like emotional processing or whatever you need to do. Just make sure you take that extra time for you and it's not just always, pedal to the metal and get it all done.
Yeah, I really appreciate that feedback because when I was reading yours and not just yours, but all of y'all's, I was like, yeah, like that's something I really need to keep in mind because sometimes like I am always in like that go mode. I'm like, okay, let me see what I can try to get ahead for next week. Like I kid you not, guys, I'm already getting stuff from like week 4, week 5, just starting to set it up. It's because the thing about me is I always like to get ahead just in case, something happens. Let's say I need to do something or I need to go somewhere and I'm like, I'm not gonna have time to like do it. So I'd rather just at least have like a skeleton of it. So that way, whenever I do have time, I can go back. But there have been times, especially at the beginning when I first started this program back in August last year. I remember I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like I even had like I wouldn't say they were like anxiety attacks, but I just felt very, very overwhelmed. I felt like I can't do this. Like I was, I guess, forcing myself to get so much done when in reality, like I shouldn't have to like push myself to that extent. Like I should be able to just, do what I can when I can and worry about it like what's in front of me. So, for example, only worry about what's going on this week, which is week 3. Why should I be worrying about week 4, week 5? So, definitely something I need to work on. All right, so let me go ahead and get into the feedback that I wrote for you guys. So, Jessica A, you're really good at what you do. Like, I think Amanda had mentioned it earlier as well. You already have like these really good professional counseling skills, and like they were really seen when we did our group counseling last week. And it was just a really, really good one. Like when you did it, I was like, wow, like how am I gonna match that level? It was
Mhm.
really, really good. So I said, you push yourself to get you to where you want to be, but just do not forget to take some time to let yourself get loose every now and then. I can identify with you as well because again, I struggle to turn off that work mode. So I feel like I can really relate to you when it comes to that. Like I'm always in like, okay, I gotta get serious kind of mode. Like I'm not gonna let time to relax or things like that. But in reality, like we need to. Otherwise, it's going to negatively impact our work and things like that. Jessica M, you do such a great job whenever we meet. I can see that at times you do tend to like doubt yourself, doubt your abilities and things like that. Um, but from our meetings, I've seen that you've grown so much, even compared to our pre-practicum course from last semester, I think. You've grown. So don't ever doubt your abilities. You're good at what you do. And Amanda, you're really sweet and very empathetic. And those are excellent qualities to have as a counselor for sure. However, just like as mentioned, don't let that emotional weight, get you down. You have to make sure that you leave that time to like, focus on you yourself rather than focusing so much on others and their emotional weight. Keep in mind that if you're taking care of everyone, you won't be able to take care of yourself, and that'll also have a negative impact on your performance.
Mm.
So yeah, that's what I wrote for all of us.
Perfect. I'll go. Let's see. I did have a quote here, but I didn't know if do I need to read it out loud for it to
Whatever works for you.
Okay. Um, it says, I did say that I was looking forward to the feedback, but can see how this section can cause some anxiety. But the primary objective of the Tahari window is to generate self-awareness, and that is a quote that I found. And also another citation I found was specifically for college students taking these counseling courses. And it said, personal reflection and group processing allows students the time for quiet, thoughtful, and interactive reflective contemplation. So when graduate counseling students are immersed in a new and different culture, reflective practice cultivates opportunities to examine moments of meaning. So I kind of thought that fit us. And so I said, Jessica L. I said, I don't know if you know how warm and genuine you really come off. You're very personable and relatable, and I think that's a wonderful quality to have, especially to be a counselor. I know last time you said you were nervous right before the recording your session, and maybe you're starting to doubt yourself, but you absolutely did a fabulous job. And I don't think you should ever doubt your skills because you're good at what you do. And then Jessica A, I said, like I said, you're a pro already. You can tell you know what you're doing and you take it very seriously. I just said, don't be afraid to let a little bit of humor show sometimes when appropriate, of course. But like I said, I would book you for an appointment for a counseling session. And then Althea, I said, you are a go-getter and always on top of your game, it seems like, and I wish I had more of your qualities. You're very put together, organized, and prepared. And then I just said, just make sure you take time to celebrate yourself and all of your accomplishments, and don't be afraid to let someone else take the reins when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Oh, that's great. Oh, guys, you had all of you had me like spot on, and on mine, I was like, let me just admit to all of my flaws. But ironically, the blind quadrant for me is like I am like super like aware of like where I find like where I'm at. I know my flaws. Like I because it says that like this quadrant, right, are things that one is unaware of about oneself, but that are obvious to others. But no, like it is like I am very aware of what's happening with myself. But yeah, so I like everything that you guys mentioned is like spot on about me. Like, and even my principal, like when he does walkthroughs on me, he's like, don't doubt yourself. He's like, why are you doubting yourself? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I get so nervous, and maybe it stems from like something in the past or something. But if it is not something that I know like the back of my hand, I will flip out. Like, I'll doubt myself because then I don't know, like maybe like one time someone just like told me off, and or I don't know, like I do not know why I'm like this, but I am like this, but I am gonna get better with this. But yeah, anyways, went off talking about myself. So for Amanda, I put Amanda, you're a super patient and empathetic person, which are great qualities to have as a future counselor. And then I put that you aren't afraid of a new challenge or to speak up on something that you believe in. And this went based off of what you had said on the bullying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, yes, like I can use this. Um, the only thing that with mine, guys, I did not put like, I just put like great things, but I didn't put like how you guys offered, like, don't be like afraid to, I'm gonna work on that. Please do not submit the notes yet. Um, but okay. Jessica A, yes, like spot on to what everyone else is saying. You have like not only do you come off like very organized when you speak, um, like your thoughts are like super like put together. Like you're talking and I see it in my head. Like there, I'm like putting in all your information and it's going into categories in my brain. And I love that. Like I hope one day I can speak as well as you do, because in my head, like I have a lot of things and then I open my mouth and nothing comes out the way I wanted to. But you're an amazing speaker and you have like this calmness about you. I love that too. Like I wish I could have like these qualities where it's like you like you know what you're talking about, but you're also like super calm. So I feel like really comfortable like to disclose anything because you are, I don't know, vibes, intuition. But yes, you got that. And Althea, yes, like natural facilitator. You are like spot on with everything. And you are such a positive, like bubbly, like personality. Like it's great. It's amazing qualities that you have as well. But yeah, like I feel so calm in this group, guys, because you guys offer like amazing qualities, like where I feel like, okay, don't panic, don't panic. It's not that bad because like we got this. And But yeah, Althea, you're like amazing at like just taking it and like rolling with it and saying, let's go. Like 1, 2, 3, camera, like but you guys are amazing and I'm gonna work on the second part of this where I should offer some feedback, but yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Shedding a tear here.
I know.
But no, yes, like I remember before this class and before pre-practicum, I would see feedback and I don't know why I would be like scared, like I don't know. I guess like I would always be afraid that like the feedback would be like negative. But then
Mhm.
after pre-practicum and a little bit of this class, I learned that no, feedback is not meant to like attack you or be like, oh, got you. This is where you're struggling. No, it's meant to like help you highlight something that maybe you might not be aware of, or maybe you are, but like maybe you wouldn't think other people are aware of it as well. But like same thing that Jessica M mentioned. I'm also very aware about like sometimes I just tend to overwhelm myself and like I know it's a problem, but for some reason like I can't get myself out of that loop like of just, keep it going, keep it going. But I mean, now hearing from like three other people the same kind of feedback, I'm like, okay, yeah, like this is something I need to work on, especially now given that it's summer. So it's like I'm trying to like, okay, I'm off of work, but I have school. So how can I use the time now that I don't have with work to kind of like, self-care, kind of engage in that self-reflection? Like, what else do I need to work on to be better? Because I know with self-reflection, that's like a major, major thing that I remember in pre-practicum. In the book that they gave us, the Learning the Art of Helping, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's what the major, major emphasis was. Self-reflection, feedback, see what you can learn so you can gain that awareness and be better for your clients in the future. All right. And then the last part of today's notes says anything, if anything, that may have occurred within the unknown quadrant.
I just kind of reflected on in some of the things like that I've been thinking and kind of, just about myself and like I do like have I think it's probably a very bad habit, but like I mentioned being productive like measures like my own worth. So when I'm like super duper prepared and I'm like ready to go, it's like my mind is just kind of thinking like if you don't produce or you're not productive, like you're not you're not good enough type thing. I've really always been like that though. Like even from the time I was a kid, I can remember like my brother playing sports and I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to be better than him. So it was always just kind of like it was rooted whenever I was little and it's always been the same. So if there's ever like, this is, even with class, like you said, Althea, like you've already looked ahead and looked ahead. Like, but it gets me in bind sometime because like the voice thread, the newest one, I had already done it. And then when everything had gone bad with it, I was like, "Where's my voice thread?" She was like, "I'm sorry, you're gonna have to redo it." I was like, "Okay, that's totally my fault." But that's just kind of like an example of like the productive part of me, like overthinking everything and overdoing everything, and then, but that's just me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally relate to you because same here. Like I try my best to get ahead and it's happened through experience where I get ahead, I turn in something and then something like that happens. Or the professor, like not this one, but like previous professors I've had, they'll be saying something like, "Oh, don't forget to have this in your essay or don't forget to have this." And I'm like, "But that wasn't in the instructions and I already turned it in." So there have been so many times that I've had to like literally email and be like, hey, like I turned it in already. So sometimes I'm kind of like torn, like should I, get ahead, turn it in, or just,
Right.
forget about it until next week. But what I've been doing that's been working really well for me this time around is I do it, but I just hold off on turning
That's
it
what
in
I do.
just in case, there's anything that comes up. But for this week, I kind of already did the voice thread, so I'm hoping it goes smoothly this time.
Yeah.
I also already did the test for this class. By the way, if you guys haven't taken it yet, it's pretty easy. It's basically all that we've been talking about. I really like the exams. I know Jessica, you mentioned it in the group chat earlier that it's really good that these literal tests are like from the textbook. Like everything that we read, everything that we reviewed, it's right there. But yeah, same thing that you said was, yeah, like I'm aware now about things that I didn't think other people would pick up on about me. But now it kind of like made me have these realizations, help me with gaining more self-awareness, and just helping me realize that I don't always have to be in that go mode, that I have to kind of like, okay, whenever I feel like I'm about to get overwhelmed, that's when I should be like, okay, let me stop. Another thing that I've been trying to do is like every day, I want to try to stop working on work at like 9 or 10 p.m. So that way the rest of the night I can just chill. Because in the past, I would just go straight on. I would sleep until maybe midnight or later just because I wanted to get ahead on stuff. And that's not good. That is not healthy. And like I mentioned in my notes, I said, um, I feel like sometimes I do too much and I push myself beyond my limits when I should focus more on doing what I can when I can and setting some time out for to practice self-care. Because if I don't take care of myself, how am I going to take care of others? So that's pretty much how I ended my part of the notes there.
I think trying to remember what I put, but I put kind of the unknown is I really didn't realize how much I like absolutely despised being videotaped until I saw it back and thinking, okay, that's out there forever, like never to be erased. Like here I am struggling, but it's on film somewhere for the rest of my life. But that and I think I couldn't remember. I think there might have been one more thing that oh, um, how difficult it is. We kind of went through this, maybe some of you did during COVID, how hard it is, especially counseling, to do this through a video because you miss those so many like subtle cues that I don't know if you can see that I'm like sitting crisscross, bouncing my leg back and forth. It's just a nervous energy. But I think you miss kind of those cues when you're instead of being face to face, you see a screen, you see this much, but I don't, it's hard to not be able to take in everything. So I think the view or the information is still a little limited, more so than it would be if you were face to face together. But it's still a good option. But I didn't realize how much you rely on those nonverbal cues to kind of get the meaning of how the person may be feeling. So that's what I got.
Yeah, and that's very true. Those non-verbal cues that we don't see, because same thing with me. Like I'm standing,
No.
I'm like moving my legs and stuff like that, but you can't really tell. It kind of looks like I'm sitting, but I'm not.
For mine, I put for the fourth quadrant, the unknown quadrant. Um, I don't know why I went on a tangent with Back to the Future. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that movie. There's three parts of it. But I don't know, I had recently been watching two of them, and I don't know, it came up to me as an example. Um, in a nutshell, it's basically like Marty like is kind of like shocked that Doc. If you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, just I'll get to the point right now. Um Doc, he didn't know that like Doc had like a future, not a future, a future. Oh my God, I'm thinking about the title of the movie. He didn't know that like he had like a personal life, and that's kind of shocking because it is a three-part movie. And this whole time like Marty looks at Doc like just a professor, like just a scientist, just like meeting objectives and stuff. And like throughout all those movies, when he catches him dancing with a woman, he's like, what? Like he can dance, and he's like super shocked. But because in all those timelines, like he had never seen that. I don't know. I kind of went on a tangent there. It makes sense to me. But yeah. And it also got me thinking about like when my students see me like at the mall, God forbid, or at HEB, and they're like, wait, like you're not at the school all day and night. Like, But yeah, like the unknown quadrant, like obviously with us, like it would go with enough time. It's possible that the unknown qualities will reveal themselves, but that's what I put for mine.
Yeah, it's a pretty good example. And I
Yeah.
like how you brought up the whole like seeing your teacher out in public, because that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking as well
Yeah.
when you mentioned like, oh, I didn't know like they had a personal life or a private life. Like it's so funny to me because when like I was a kid, I used to think it was like, wow, I'm looking at a celebrity in like the grocery
Yeah.
store. It's
Oh, your
my
teacher at
history
the store.
teacher. But now that like I'm a teacher now and like I see my students, I'm like, yeah, this is awkward.
Yeah.
Like you're only supposed to see me at work, not
Right.
anywhere else.
Yeah, they'll see you at the store and they're like, "What's in your cart? What are you buying? You eat Cheerios? What?" It's-
It's so funny. No, yeah, I feel like we provided a lot of really good examples for this week's. I mean, we always do, to be honest, but I feel like this time around it was a lot easier to kind of find some examples for each of the different quadrants, the open quadrant, blind quadrant, unknown quadrant. And like I really do feel that the blind and the unknown quadrant, they'll go ahead and like start shrinking over time as we again kind of like open up with one another, express things. Because I feel like even within the meeting itself, like maybe at the beginning, maybe it feels like, oh, okay, we're barely getting loose. And then as the meeting progresses, that's when we finally start kind of opening up naturally and things like that. So I really like that again about this group, that, it's a welcoming space. It feels safe to just kind of like express anything that comes to mind. And going back to what Amanda said about the being recorded and things like that. Yeah, I used to feel the same way as well. I used to think, oh my gosh, like I'm struggling, I'm stuttering, I'm saying things that don't even make sense, and I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Other people are gonna watch it, but honestly, practice makes perfect. Like
Right.
you're practicing as you go, and over time you'll learn that you'll actually be able to see like the growth over time. Like compared to like, for example, my first tape script going to like my second one and other videos that I've done, I've seen like, okay, I'm practicing these counseling skills more. Like I'm getting better. But again, practice makes perfect. So
Yeah.
don't worry. No one's ridiculing or laughing or anything like that. This is a safe space and we're all just kind of helping each other out as best as we can.
Yeah.
All right, so how are we feeling for the coming weeks? We're almost at the halfway point, or I feel like we are at the halfway point. I'm not sure.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so I have some questions.
Mhm.
Like the online groups that we're supposed to
Oh, yes.
join. So have you guys found, I found one site that is free and like they do them like every like certain days, but they're like such odd times. It's like 11 a.m. or like just like literally like random times. Is there certain is there certain that we're supposed to go to or we're just supposed to
From what I understood, I don't think you necessarily have to like actually like I don't know how I read it. I need to reread it, but I know for a fact you're not supposed to like be paying for anything or anything like that. I saw one example that said it could be like a Facebook group. So for example, I had found a Facebook group, I think it's called School Counselors Connect, and it's
Okay.
basically like for school counselors, whether they're already school counselors or they're school counseling students. And it's kind of just a group where they kind of like share ideas with one another, help each other out. So I mean, I'll talk more about that next week when we meet, but I know for a fact you can use social media to find a support group.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I need to reread the instructions, but I don't think you necessarily have to like actually join it per se and start going through each meeting because again, it wouldn't really make sense given that we only talk about it that week. But
Right.
I don't know, don't quote me.
Okay.
I joined one
Well,
on the Facebook, a local counseling Facebook group here.
Mhm. So yeah, I think that's another good one. Anything Facebook support group, as long as it's like an act, like it says that it's like a support group.
okay, cool.
So yeah. Yeah, I'll probably see if I can send y'all like a screenshot of the one that I joined so that way you can see like what it says in case you're interested. Because I know that the one example that she provided in the instructions said, for example, moms with kids that have autism. So that's
Mhm.
one. So I don't know, I don't think it has to necessarily be related to like school counseling or anything like that. It can be anything as long as it's an actual like support group that you can be a part of, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Mhm. All right. Well, we're almost to the end. It kind of
Mhm.
reminds me of the pre-practicum course where every week we were like, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Count it
We got
down even from week 1.
positive vibes. So
Yes.
3 is pretty much done. We only meet, I think, 3 more times because I don't know if I saw correctly, but I don't think we meet on the very, very last
The
week.
last one, I don't think we do. I was trying to look at everything this week, and I think that's the one that we don't. I think that one just had like
The
a
final
discussion.
exam
Exam.
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if anything, the week 4, which is next week, that's the one that has to do with the support groups. Week 5 is just another regular like meeting, answering some questions. And then week 6, I think that's when we all kind of pitch in and write the paper.
Hmm.
So that's one thing that maybe we can kind of start looking at it just to kind of like, have some ideas for that. Because I know it's like 2 weeks from now, but time flies,
Yeah.
which is why I like to get ahead.
But I think there's also something like maybe next week, whenever we meet, we can kind of talk a little bit more about the assignment because I think we have to like choose different theories or something to pull in together. So maybe we
Yeah, I think we each pick a specific theory. Like I think there was one certain therapy and then another one, and we each kind of pick one and then write about them. So honestly, I don't think it should be as tedious as I thought, because I mean, we're all kind of sharing the responsibility of writing a paper. And I feel like we have that experience with our notes.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be okay.
Do we have to turn in these notes?
just
Only one person.
Only one person.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, if it's all good, I can go ahead and take that responsibility. So that way I can turn in this, the video, and then the self-reflection. So just don't forget that you guys got to do the self-reflection as well.
and
Okay.
Can I
don't forget
ask
those other 2 things too, because I
The,
think those have to be turned in every time, don't they?
the which ones?
The echo, the
Oh,
disclosure
I
ones, I
thought that
think
was only for the first one,
the
I
first
think.
one.
Yeah, because I didn't turn it in last week. Last week I just turned in the video, the transcript, and the template analyzing.
Okay.
But I mean, if not, oh well, it wasn't in the instructions. So, all
Okay.
right. Well, I'll go ahead and let y'all go so y'all can enjoy the rest of y'all's week. Let me go ahead and stop recording.